Hello, this is Tony Heller from RealClimateScience.com, the climate guy setting the record straight about climate. This video is about the Climate Ministry of Truth erasing the satellite data. In George Orwell's novel 1984, the job of the Ministry of Truth was to erase history which was inconvenient for the current regime. Previously, I've done videos showing how the 1970s global cooling scare has been erased, as well as one showing how they're trying to erase the record heat of 1913 in California. In this video, I'll show you how desperately cynical they've become trying to erase the satellite data. Dr. Roy Spencer at the University of Alabama at Huntsville is one of the leading satellite experts in the world. Yesterday he said, "I will bet the hottest data set wins the biggest government grant." Satellite data has been a terrible thorn in the side of climate alarmists because it showed no warming over the past 17 years. Meanwhile, NASA's surface temperatures have shown a huge amount of warming. 2 years ago, Senator Ted Cruz held a hearing about NASA NOAA data tampering. The graph below Senator Cruz may look familiar. That's my graph showing how U.S. temperature data has been massively tampered with by NOAA. In that hearing, Senator Cruz also pointed out that the surface temperature record didn't match satellite temperatures, as I showed you in the previous graph. Satellite temperatures had become a huge thorn in the side of climate fraudsters. So I predicted 2 years ago that Carl Mears from remote sensing systems would come under huge amounts of pressure from the climate mafia, and that he would corrupt his satellite temperatures to fall in line with the surface temperatures. I predicted that he would tilt his graph to create warming where there was previously none. Earlier this year, Dr. Roy Spencer made an even more detailed prediction. Here's what he said. "I expect there will soon be a revised TLT product from RSS which shows enhanced warming too. Here's what I'm predicting. 1. Neither John Christie nor I will be asked to review the paper. 2. It will quickly sail through peer review. Our paper is still not in print nearly 1 year after submission. And 3. It will have many authors. Let's see how many of my 3 predictions come true." Well, as it turns out, he got number 1 and 2 exactly right. Number 3 wasn't quite correct. Incredibly, neither John Christie nor Roy Spencer were asked to review the paper. They're probably the only 2 people in the world who are qualified to do that. And it sailed through peer review in just a few months, much faster than Roy Spencer's papers. As I've pointed out many times, the peer review system in climate science is completely broken and fraudulent. And yes, the RSS satellite data has been corrupted, just as I predicted 2 years ago. Carl Mears at RSS did exactly what I predicted. He tilted his graph upwards by 140%. This was announced by Zeke Housefather, a guy who has no expertise in satellite temperatures. Zeke works on surface temperature records at Berkeley Earth, and he made this stunning claim. Surface temperature records all tend to agree quite closely with each other, despite different groups using different data sets. But Zeke's claim is simply not true. Last year, when confronted by Senator Malcolm Roberts about an obviously fraudulent temperature record, Gavin Schmidt of NASA said the exact opposite of what Zeke claimed. However, you appear to hold a number of misconceptions which I'm happy to clarify at this time. Firstly, in the graphs, you show the data is quite clearly and correctly labeled as originating from GHCN. For your information, GHCN stands for the Global Historical Climatology Network and is a project of the NOAA National Center for Environmental Information. So when it suits their purposes, these climate fraudsters claim that the data sets are independent. And when called out for climate fraud, they say, "It's not my data. This is somebody else's fault." This cynicism is unbelievable, but the story gets much worse. NASA data doesn't even agree with NASA data, much less with anybody else. These graphs are right off the NASA website, and they show how NASA has doubled 1880 to 1999 warming since the year 2000. On the left is NASA's 2000 version of global surface temperatures. They showed about half a degree warming. But now they show twice that much warming for the same time period. This is genuinely awful science, but I'm just getting started. This story gets much worse. In December of last year, NOAA reported record heat in South Central Africa. But they didn't have one single thermometer reading from South Central Africa in December of last year. Both of these maps are from NOAA. The map on the left is the bright red map, which they always show to the public, showing that the Earth is burning up. But the map on the right shows where they actually have thermometers. Note what they say down here in the lower right. Please note, gray areas represent missing data. They have almost no temperature data in Africa, almost none in Antarctica, almost none in Greenland, very little in South America, huge gaps all over the world. Their data is fake. Satellites, on the other hand, have excellent coverage of the Earth, and they showed that Central Africa in December was very close to normal temperatures. The bottom line is that satellite temperatures have now been corrupted to fall in line with fake surface temperatures. In this ClimateGate email, Phil Jones from CRU admitted that much of his data is fake. For much of the southern hemisphere between 40 and 60 south, the normals are mostly made up as there's very little ship data there. Now let's look how Carl Mears at RSS has corrupted the satellite data. This is what his website looked like a few days ago. The blue band showed measured satellite temperatures, and the yellow band showed climate model predictions. He said, the simulation as a whole are predicting too much warming. Note that the measured temperatures in blue were entirely below the climate model forecasts in yellow, showing that the climate models were a joke. But using his new corrupted data, Carl Mears has brought his satellite temperatures, the black line, in compliance with the yellow climate models. This is what the climate mafia demanded. NASA has known for almost 30 years that satellite temperatures are much better than surface temperatures. In 1990, NASA issued a report saying there was no sign the greenhouse effect increased global temperatures during the 1980s. And they said that satellite temperatures are more accurate and they should be adopted as the standard way to monitor global temperature change. NASA has resisted doing this for 30 years because they were unable to get the people behind the satellite data to make fake data, at least until now. The climate mafia is very powerful. Their powers of coercion are well documented, and they've been able to bring almost everybody in line. All adjustments go upwards over time. That's one of the basic rules of climate science. Visit Toto on the web at realclimatescience.com. He's been pulling back the curtain on junk science for a long time.